Experimentation. It helps us minimize the risk of bringing new products, services, and businesses to market. Experimentation means testing assumptions, the big ones first, and running agile and smart trials in the marketplace. Most importantly, we need to keep our learning ahead of our investment, testing the key aspects of the business model or value proposition to the consumer. It's not about testing the entire model to a subset of the market. It's about delivering a minimum set of compelling value to all target consumers.
As we transition out of business model design, we have identified assumptions underlying the opportunity. There are always assumptions that really, if we're honest with ourselves, we don't know the answer, or we can't get to the answer strictly by analysis. The best way for us to explore and understand these unknowns is through experimentation, by getting out into the market, testing ideas in as realistic an environment as possible.
The concept of testing a business concept is not new. A lot of companies do it. However, many of them do it in creating a miniature version of the full offering. A problem with that particular approach is if we're not achieving the desired business performance, business objectives, we actually don't know what elements of the business model is at fault. So the experimentation approach is about isolating the business model elements that we have assumptions and questions about. Design specific test to test those assumptions, learn about it, and then be able to apply those learnings to adjust our offering.
The key to starting our experimentation is to articulate and frame the major assumptions that underpin this opportunity. Our goal in experimentation is to ensure that learning outpaces investment. Early on, we'll be dealing with assumptions like, do consumers want it? Do they care? Then we'll move into more operational questions like, can we deliver it? How can we offer the value proposition? And then finally, we get into questions around or experimenting assumptions about, can we make money? And if so, how much and exactly where is the economic value?
Think about it. Why do scientists use fruit flies in their experiments? Fruit flies have short life cycles, so I can conduct many experiments and run through many generations of fruit flies in a reasonable amount of time. Fruit flies turn out to have genetics that are easily to isolate components of it, similar to we want to isolate elements of the business model. Scientists can isolate elements of the genetics and be able to see how that evolve over cycles of tests.
One example that I like to use when talking about experimentation is fishing. So if you're an avid fisherman, rarely would you go out to a fishing hole, try one lure at one time of day and in only one fishing spot, and if you don't catch anything, go away and never come back. And yet so many times that's what we do in the process of commercialization. We try an opportunity in one way without learning about and testing different aspects of the business model. And if it doesn't work, we have a tendency to run away. So when you go fishing, there's a reason you bring with you a whole tackle box full of fishing lures. And you try at different times of day. And maybe you bring a boat so you can try different spots. The point is, if you believe the fish are biting, you're going to go back and you're going to keep trying until you catch something. Standard practice at most companies these days is, when launching a new venture, to make a very rational, objective, go, no-go decision based on strict business performance metrics. And while there is a place for that mode or that way of operating, we would contend that there is a tendency to prematurely kill off exciting, compelling opportunities if we focus too rigidly on business performance metrics. We would also advocate thinking about what is it that we need to go learn about this opportunity? What is the value of that additional knowledge to us, and does that value exceed the cost of going out and conducting experiments to gather that information? It's by comparing that value of learning to cost of investment that we can ensure that learning outpaces investment.
A good example of a successful output of the experimentation process is McDonald's Red Box. In many corporations, if they were testing the Red Box concept, they probably would have killed it multiple times. McDonald's, through iterations of experiments, evolved the business concept to what it is today, the largest video kiosk rental system in the United States. In the first experiment McDonald's conducted, it was testing Red Box as a concept of a full-scale self-service convenience store. It had milk, razor blades, shampoo, all the things that you would find in a convenience store, and DVDs. And in the experiment, they learned the concept of a convenience store wasn't right for McDonald's. However, the concept of renting DVDs had a huge potential.
Google they are serial experimenters. It is in their DNA. If they have an idea, they flesh it out first, but then very quickly create a business around it. And if they fail, they learn from their experiment and adjust course, adjust the offering, adjust the business model, and come back again with something that will be viable for consumers and operationally executable for Google. As we look back through their history, they've had Gmail, Google Docs, Google Plus, their ventures into Android and YouTube, even Google TV. As we record this, is still being figured out, but Google has stated publicly that their approach is going to be to continue to try to morph and evolve the offering.
When Best Buy was testing the trade-in program, they went into a store area. The tester went to a print shop and printed doorknob hangers and just went around the neighborhoods and hang the advertisement on doors. They rented a tent, built the offering in the parking lot, and then the trade-in they received, they turned around and sold it on eBay for a small profit. So the overall experiment actually netted Best Buy just a little bit of money, and they learned quite a lot in that experimentation.
As we've seen, some well-run experiments have been turned into valuable products and services for some innovative companies. Learn from them. Remember that they got to market successfully more quickly, testing big assumptions first, learning what worked, pivoting around things that didn't, and keeping their learning ahead of their investment.